Hello and welcome to CLEA'S World. I am Clea and today I would like to share with you more of the information I've received from the 25th dimension during my last BQH hypnosis session. I'll be reading from a transcript of questions I prepared in advance of the session. And when I refer to Lorrayne, I'm speaking of the practitioner who was asking me the questions. And when I refer to me, I'm speaking of myself under hypnosis, which means that the answers are coming from the 25th dimension. And before I start reading, I want to thank you, as always, for subscribing, liking, and commenting on this video. It really makes a difference to me. And please keep those questions and comments coming. They really do make my day. Thank you. All right, so let's start reading here. Lorrayne, I think you already answered this before, but we're still expecting at this point in time, given where we're at, that April is our potential timeline. Are we doing behind the scenes? Now, the 25th has told us many times, and this is not a timeline. It's basically just the fact that we believe that by April, or that it would take us 7 months to get to a point where we feel pretty satisfied with having achieved most of what we stayed behind to achieve. So again, it is not a timeline. I want to say this, okay? And in fact, they repeat that all the time. So we don't have a timeline for leaving at this point. Me, yes, things are happening. On the surface, they don't look like it. We already, for example, brought up the fact that they're trying to push for this thing to be added to the childhood schedule. And Claire is aware of the fact that, and I cannot say this word because I had a video already taken down by this friendly platform we're on because of saying a couple of names like these. So I'm just gonna, we're going to end up miming stuff here. But basically, the first name is Peter, and the second name starts with Mac, and the rest of the name is Call La. And you might be familiar with him. He's been very prominent and vociferous in basically speaking with Congress and anybody who will listen. He's been one of the most, if not the most published doctor in the United States. His track record is impeccable, and they just pulled his license because he did a testimony in front of Congress in the United States, letting them know that kids are dying from this thing. So we cannot speak truth. It's just not possible. You will be punished, and this was an obvious example. So I'm going to go back and read here what the 25th says about this. So Clea is aware of the fact that this doctor, who has been a great champion, bringing up the truth about this thing, just like many other issues, like the lack of early treatment, the fact that many doctors are in the pockets of big pharma and therefore refuse to treat patients, which is unheard of, etc., is being delicensed. They pulled this license just recently for no reason. It's very obvious to everybody he's done nothing wrong. He has an impeccable career track. And all he's done is that he's espousing with reason in hand. He's not going there and saying, this is my opinion. He's looking at factual data the way that it always is done. He's published a million studies on things, so he knows he has the mind of a researcher. And he's saying, I'm putting A and B and C together, and all of a sudden I'm getting this. And they're saying, you cannot get this. You cannot talk about this. Here you go. We're taking your license back. A lot of people needed to see this, that this is how it works. Now, we already know that because, again, at the end of the day, we already know how this is how it works. Basically, the ones of us who are left behind, we are already aware of this. There are a lot of NPCs, need to see this. And again, we've chosen to have this continue looking a certain way. But we don't want you to think this is not going to happen because the dark is still winning. Because the dark is still taking away the license of doctors like this man, this Peter. Therefore, they're winning. In fact, this was a huge faux pas because Peter has such a following and he's such a prominent doctor that many, in fact, we see how long he's lasted after saying these things. And now it's a matter of, okay, we can see how corrupt you are. And this is how we're playing it. And again, we're playing it like this for our own benefit. So we can see that things are changing. And so that it's even more obvious when this thing gets recalled that they lost all the way through everything. Doesn't matter what they did. And they are throwing everything, including the kitchen sink at this. And even then, this thing is going to be recalled. We have seen, and we want to mention something. Hillary, and she's a member of our community. Hi, Hillary. Just posted something in the Telegram group where she mentioned it was a video of we assume it was another Dutch congressman, because he was referring to his colleague who had said that, who had posed a question to the director, where he was answered, basically, there was no study done for transmission at all. Which, if you think of how absurd that is, and we're laughing here, the fact that they're saying, take this and you'll be fine, and all of a sudden they've done not one study on whether you can transmit the virus or not. So it's quite entertaining, all of it. Really, the fact that they even talk about it, you would imagine would have hidden this information at the cost of their lives, but they didn't. They're talking about it. So we're assuming this congressman also was Dutch. But if you notice, Clea noticed that right away when she heard that. He's talking about terminating all contracts with pharmaceutical companies to purchase the thing and to get 2.5 billion euros back from what they've spent on these things because they were useless. But keep in mind, they mandated them, okay? So they're not saying, oh, we mandated them, that was a bad idea, and we shouldn't do that, it's very fascist. They're saying, it's fine we mandated them because we thought they worked, but now we know they don't work. They were not tested. We want the money back. So you see, we already spoke about this. This is all about, all across, if you stop to think about it for 2 seconds, they are saying, oh no, we got defrauded out of money. So they're thinking about the money part. And so we want the money back. But really, what's it doing? What they're saying is, you told us this thing would work and it doesn't. So what do you think that's going to do to the people saying, you told me that I had to get it to keep my job, to keep a roof over my head, and you didn't even know if it was working or not. In fact, this guy, this congressman, only asked the director if it was tested 3 weeks ago, a month ago, whenever it was. How about you guys ask them 3 years ago or 2 years ago, whenever they came out? Do you see? So on the surface, we discussed this, how on the surface, we want things to look very mild, almost off the point. No, we're talking about money. Let's talk about the fact of what's happened, right? No, we're talking about money. I mean, you know, clearly they need to give us our money back. Do you see? It looks so almost fluffy, so almost like, yeah, okay, we're not getting anywhere. But it's how we want it. And the truth is, it doesn't really matter how they remove it. What matters is that it gets removed. Lorrayne, I'm done with the absurdity. Okay, Claire would like to know if the meditation on the recall using the numbers 104 and 106 that she had at Carolyn's helped. Is there anything else we should do to ensure this recall happens as quickly as possible? And they were referring to the fact that I did have a group meditation at Carolyn's, and you probably remember Carolyn. She is my qhht practitioner, so and a friend of mine. And these codes, the 104 and 106, are codes that I've shared with you before that I downloaded. The 104 is something that kept popping up all the time, keeps popping up to this day, all the time, throughout the day in my life. And so I asked the 25th about it, and they told me it was tied to the recall. And the 106 is a code that I downloaded in dream state. And then asking the 25th about it, they said that it was tied to the takedown. So we did a meditation, basically focusing on these codes and making them prominent in our minds, because really that's all it is. It's a matter of focusing on them. I mean, everything, our intention is all powerful. So whatever we intend is going to happen anyway. However, we do like, especially in this reality, we do like to use vehicles to carry our intention or to make our intention come across. All right, me. Yes, it did help, meaning it's happening. It's happened already. And no, there is nothing that you must do. It's already, you intended it, and so it's going to happen. It's happening. It's just that we like to see it in a slow down motion here. It's already done. This is what you want to see. So this is what you're seeing. Just like right now, outside, you walk outside, you want to see X amount of people do X amount of things. You want to go to your office or to your coffee shop and see a certain scene happening, so you feel like it's real, it's there. Same thing with the thing, with this thing. Sorry, guys, you can't use the actual words. You don't want a recall today, which we experience as being Monday, November 14th. You want to experience it at a later date. It's already happened. There is no time. So the intention has been cast, and that's all there is to it. So unless you guys change your mind, this has happened already. This is what's going to happen. Now, does it mean it will happen exactly 7 months from when we first told you it would take about 7 months? And so it's on this and this date? No, because again, it has nothing to do with it, with the recall itself. It has everything to do with what's going on, what you guys are processing at an emotional level. But as we just stated, you believe you are on par and that you're going to be satisfied where you are within this time frame. And they're referring to the last video before this one, where they went into detail as to what's going on behind the scenes and what we are doing and why we feel like we are on par, even though things might not look a certain way on the surface. So if you haven't seen that, please check it out, because that will clarify a lot of this answer as well. Lorrayne, thank you. I'm satisfied now. Just saying, just putting that on the record. Me, they were laughing here and they said yes. So I guess it's on the record, Lorrayne. Lorrayne, okay. Clea was given the code 106 in a dream in relation to the takedown. How is this code related to the takedown and how does it work? Me. We have spoken about these codes before, where we've said all a code does is exemplifies for you. It's almost like a key. It's almost like a recipe you're putting together. X ingredients, X amount of ingredients, different ingredients. So we know as the 12,000, we know, for example, that we can use certain energies to create certain things. Now, we already said all essences are aware of this. There is no separation. All higher selves know. Everybody's higher self knows everything. But the 12,000 have used these codes to create dimensions to the previous takedowns. It's just a matter of rearranging energy, and so it's just like a job. If you're a plumber, you know that by turning a bulb this way or that way, you're loosening it or you're tightening it. And this is what these codes do. They basically exemplify. It's a code that reminds you how you rearrange energy to obtain a certain result. That's all it is, if you want to think of it in 3D ways. And so, yes, this is why Clea has been reminded of it. Again, the moment that it gets received, it expands. It gets distributed out to everybody. So all the 12,000 are aware of this. Whether they're listening to her or speaking about her or not, it doesn't matter. And therefore, now it's been brought back into the conscious knowledge of the 12,000. Now, the takedown was already happening anyway. We were using this energy. The reason this is becoming conscious memory now is because everything is becoming more conscious. We've spoken about becoming Neo. The whole process is about being conscious about it. We've always been Neo. We just didn't want to remember before. And so that's why we brought this up. And also because we do want to also keep focus on the fact that this will happen. It's not just about this, at least for you right now, where you're emotionally, where you're strategizing is that, we've discussed this before, the second, well, not the second that the recall happens, you move on, but basically it's pretty much what you're waiting for, and then you will refocus on the takedown. So unless you change your mind, this is still the plan. And so this is why we brought up at a conscious level, the fact that you can focus on it in this way. You can intend it in this way. But again, do you need to intend something over and over again? No, this is not the law of attraction. They were laughing here. Where you have to repeat things to yourself and believe that you have to do the affirmations. There's no time. The intention is set, and therefore things happen. So you don't ever have to verbally say this or use it. It's just a way for you to focus on it, especially if you're feeling emotional about something or out of control. You can use it. But it has been used. This is what we are using, same as with the 104 code. And again, we've reminded you because you are searching for more conscious information. You are wanting to be more aware that you are in charge of things. So this is why we're bringing these things up for you, because you already know all these things. You just don't think of them. You just don't remember them most of the time. Lorrayne. Mel says, referring to the fact that the team of the light has been so down on itself and disappointed with a sense of powerlessness because of how things have played out here. She says, I've always wondered if emotions like grief and sadness have been, because we have forgotten who we truly are, masquerading as 3D issues. Can you comment on this? I thought this was such a great question, actually. Me, yes. I mean, she's feeling it. Yeah, so a lot of the emotions that we feel at this level or on this planet are very much tied to how we feel or how we experience things at the higher self level. So we are not just robots, right? We like to ascribe things to 3D reasons. Oh, I'm sad because such and such happened. But of course, there's much more going on below the surface. The point is, I think what we would like to say to Mel, because she brought up this very good comment, she made this very introspective comment, is that we always like to pretend we're just here. And so again, we look for reasons for how we feel, for feeling certain ways in 3D reasons. So we might feel melancholic, or we might feel sad, or we might feel bad, and we think, oh, I wonder, maybe it's because this person said that to me, or because this thing didn't go the way I wanted to. But even then, many times, you can probably relate to this, Lorrayne. Claire can definitely relate to this. You will feel sad. You don't even know why. But the truth is, because we're looking for reasons at 3D level, a lot of our emotionality comes from what's happening behind the scenes, not at 3D level. Because we mentioned this many times before, we're all connected. So we pretend not to know what's going on, but we all know exactly what's going on. At higher self level, we know everything that's transpired here. Of course, we would be sad. Of course, we don't want to live at the level of sadness all the time. So of course, we shake ourselves off and we say, well, my reality looks this way. There's no reason for me to be sad. Let me keep going. Let's do something exciting. Let me go entertain myself, distract myself. Of course, there's been less and less of that over time for many of us. And so now we know. So now we know better. But yes, of course, we're not playing the way we wanted to play. This does not turn out for anyone, not even the side of dark, the way we wanted it to turn out. We're not happy about this. We already said we are very, very emotional about this. We already said that people that say, oh, bring it on. I don't care. Tell me what's been going on. I want to see some heads fall. Well, that's not quite the way we feel. Even the same people that are saying this, they're saying this likely. That's not how they feel in the background. They cannot handle it. If we thought we could handle it, we would have chosen this option, but we have not. And there is a reason for this. We'll not even be able to handle it on the earth. We already said there will be many of us who will have a very, very tough time with this. And it will take a long time in terms of earth years to get over it, to get over the realization of what's transpired here. What makes these people believe that they can handle it here? Of course, we know, and this is no judgment, no criticism, because they're still playing the game. So they think, oh, I already know what's happening. I already know that there was such and such rituals going on, or this or that. It wasn't just that. There is so much more that we're not even told about, or at a 3D level, I should say. And not only one thing is hearing it, we talked about the difference between knowing something intellectually and knowing something and actually processing it emotionally. One thing is knowing, oh yeah, this was done to children. One thing is seeing it. One thing is feeling the feelings of the people doing it and of the people who are the victims of it. We say victims, quote unquote, of course. It's very, very different. We're talking about two completely different worlds. But when we say we want disclosure, we of course think of it in 3 terms, which is, I see it on TV. It's not me. It has nothing to do with me, but we feel everything. We know everything. So it doesn't quite work that way. The second you take on that energy, that you are in that world because it's being shown to you, you carry it yourself. And we know this. You watch a movie, you get carried away by the movie, no matter what it is. It could be positive, could be negative in terms of how it makes you feel, but you feel it. Why do we believe that it would be okay to see something like this on television? We'd be okay with it. Claire cannot even think about some of the things that have happened here. She has actually come into contact with somebody she knows, basically came out and said that she was the victim of, I'm going to say this and I might have to blank it out, but basically she heard 2 things and she already cannot even wrap her mind around it. And so this is the reality of things. So yeah, to wrap this up, basically, we are doing well. Everything is going the way we want it, and we are waiting to be exposed to certain things. We will have at least, because our emotions will always be our emotions, we're moving on as humans, even though we're not taking our bodies, but at least we'll have the leisure, the luxury of being able to recalibrate. The vibration will be different. We will have different knowledge, and so at least we'll have more ways of dealing with it. Whereas here, we really don't. We wanted to pretend so badly that certain things weren't happening. We wanted to pretend so badly, we do it right now, that we are not part of this. Even the people saying, I want that exposed, these people should be exposed. There is no these people. This person saying this, he also participated. He doesn't want to know this. That's why he says these people should fall. This is very hard. This is going to be very hard for many to process. And we said this from the beginning. It's not going to be a walk in the park for many people to get over this, to be able to integrate this. And I'm going to stop reading here today, but before I sign off here, I wanted to tell you I have had a lot of dreams. You know that I get a lot of dreams, and especially since the original takedown timeline, I have received a lot of dreams that basically tell me what's going on behind the scenes and what we're working on and so on. And I started recently getting dreams about some of the actually dark stuff that's happened on this planet. This has never happened to me before in my life. And so I know that I'm doing certain work here and that I'm willing to see certain things. And even then, I don't see very much at all in these dreams. It's still I wake myself up because I can't handle it. So I completely understand, and it resonates with me when I hear the 25th say, yeah, we say it's so easy to say, I'm just going to see it on TV. I couldn't do it. I couldn't watch it on TV. And imagine if instead finding out and feeling it. In these dreams, I actually, because that's the thing with dreams, these types of downloads, they come with emotions because you're at higher self level, so there is no veil. And so feeling the emotions that I feel as I'm watching these things, because now I'm part of the action. It's a lot, guys. So I take it, I know it's true that we're not ready. We don't want to see this. Doesn't matter how cocky we sound on the surface. And as I always say, I just want to move on. I mean, I don't really need all these any more drama. So, but you might feel very differently, and it's all equal. It's all fine. Everybody has their own reasons. So if you do feel differently, please do let me know below if this resonates with you or not, or why you feel like there should be some, what we refer to as justice here. I would love to hear that. All right, take care. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.